And production obviously wants Devens' power to be used. That's why they gave it to Devens. It was no coincidence that not only has it only been the 2 Survivor players to get power so far, but the very first power given away is by far the most powerful power on the board. Yeah, I'm sure that was just a coincidence. What's up, everybody? I had to will myself to record this video today on Big Brother. Yesterday's feeds were not good. I mean, there's just so much one can take when you look at this cast and you hear some of their statements and you realize how few of this cast is actually playing to win. It reminds us that this season is a waste of time. Yesterday, the feeds were terrible. The amount of people not playing in general, and certainly not playing to win, really came forward. So yeah, I'm going to try and make this video quick today because it's one of those days where I feel like I'm wasting my breath in what is truly an awful cast. There's like only 5 people playing to win, and it's been that way the whole season. 5 out of 17 people is crazy. I want to start by giving Avic9121 in the comments some credit for his comment yesterday saying Devens will use the Diamond Power of Veto and Kamu will be evicted. The vets will realign with FAP against Yash, Taylor, Lala, Haley. After that, the 2 rats will turn on Melody and Mallory, but get slayed by the vets themselves right after. I mean, this is kind of what was set in motion again yesterday, so credit to Avic, who thinks this season is officially cooked, and that this is Grodner's dream scenario, the rest of the season being a boring vet steamroll after this week. Well, Drew did tell Devens about Kamu wanting D out, and I do think that has grown Devens wanting to use the Diamond Power of Veto, even though it's going to grow Devens' target, to put up Kamu and take that big shot. Here's some of the stuff that started happening that annoyed me, though, of course. Haley asking Kamu if she could pick him to play in the veto. He says yes, but Yash wants to keep things the same. Haley talking about it will look bad if Kamu doesn't keep things the same. Haley, fight to stay in the game. Haley just walking around this house playing victim all the time, looking like a goddamn vampire. I'm sick of it. Kamu and Yash also making no sense here, thinking that Haley would not be a target this week when they know there is a big amount of people that don't fuck with her. So I think they're doing a terrible job of counting numbers for votes if they really think they have Melody and Mallory. That's pretty dumb because Yash hasn't even told them enough or told them about D's bribe yet from what I've seen. Drew had a conversation with D yesterday talking about how he needs D to not tell people when he tells her something because that information got back to Mallory. I mean, at least Drew trying to tell D to stop being messy with this information because he has only been trying to help the vets, but Drew is the vets whipping boy. Then Drew told D that he would rather lose to the vets. And there it is. It's what we have known all along. Drew not thinking about winning the game, just thinking he'd rather lose to someone who has won before, who has won $1 million on Survivor. Yeah, this is the kind of cast we're dealing with this season. I really, truly don't think most people are thinking about winning the game. And then we have people like Drew and Barrett who seem very much okay with a vet winning the game. Other notes on Drew. Drew does not want Taylor or Lala to make it to jury. You know, they're so scary and all. The house only eats when Taylor and Lala cook, but, you know, can't have them in jury. D told the vets that right now they need Drew and that she's trusting Drew right now and that Drew does not want to work with Kamu and Yash. So yes, for this round, Drew is back on the vets' good side until they need to use him as a whipping boy and throw him under the bus again, and then he will take it and still want the vets to win. Rinse and repeat this entire terrible season. Devens told D that he would only use the Diamond Power of Veto if D bribes him with the 5K Big Brother bribe. RXTSec1 in the comments said this yesterday, that since Devens foolishly is going to use the power, he should at least tell D to bribe him and get paid for it. Well, Devens did at least come to that conclusion. I mean, I guess throwing 700K away for 5K is a great deal making. But D didn't want to do it at first, but I think as the day has gone on, yesterday Devens convinced D to do it. D didn't want to like waste both of their powers, but I think Devens wants to look like he has some kind of incentive to do this for D. I think he, on one hand, is thinking it's not going to make him look as dumb as it really is going to make him look to throw his game away for D, or at least make his target bigger for D. And I think he's also hoping that if it looks like he took the bribe, it won't look like they are as close of a duo as they actually are. Haley told Yash that she would throw the veto competition yesterday if they were the last two. Haley is someone who definitely needs the veto this week and could be going home unless Devens' big plan about the Diamond Power of Veto putting up Kamu happens. Then I think Kamu would go over her. But again, this is another example of Haley not fighting to stay in the game. Drew had a conversation with Angela yesterday where Angela told Drew, "Can I be honest with you? I'll give you my game for D to stay." This is now the second time this week that Angela has alluded to someone that if it comes down to her and D, she basically wants D to stay. She would throw her game away for D. So now, not only are most of the newbies not playing to win and are just playing follow the leader, but Angela is putting D's game before hers. And so, like, I have to ask, why did Angela return? Did she return just to make this season Karen Central? Apparently so. I don't know if this is some kind of like stupid, nonsensical Angela thing to play the victim and have reverse psychology. But if someone is going around the house saying, "Keep so-and-so over me," okay, bye, bitch. You'd be a terrible ally because clearly you are in deep with D if you're throwing your game away for D. So I don't know why Angela's alluding to these things with Drew, and she did it with Mallory too. But to me, it's just an example of another person on this season not actively trying to win the game, and it's just a waste of our time. Yash did win the veto yesterday, and the logical conclusion should be to use it to take Haley off, because she is not Yash's main target, but is still a huge target. But Yash doesn't realize this. And then Haley, another non-player, is talking about how she would rather be in the blockbuster because she can beat Angela and D, when it's no, you should actively be trying to not be on the block. You should be actively trying to have the veto used on you because it is logical for Yasha's game. But clearly, production purposefully cast inactive players for the vets to play with this season. Devens wants to jump aboard the same idea as last week that D talked about, combine the crossovers and the Boar 4, though Devens is obviously concerned about how the Boar 4 would outnumber them 4-3. Devens has been going against his gut with this whole using the Diamond Power of Veto. You can see him trying to make every excuse the day before to put himself on the block so he doesn't have to use it on D, because he knows using it on D is going to make for not so great for his game. It's going to hurt his game. It's going to grow his target. Devens knows this. He's also just trying to talk himself into this new plan by saying, well, it's going to be popular with the audience because it's going to have all the people voted for power so far. But you can tell it's going against his gut. He told this plan to Drew. Drew doesn't want to make it official. But Drew certainly does want an all-white jury, so he's going to go for it. But I think in Devens' case, going against your gut is one of the worst things you can do in a game. But it's probably obviously why Devens has never won Survivor before. We will see if Devens stays on the put up a big target Kamu or chooses Lala and Taylor instead. Though, I mean, if he's going to piss off Kamu, you might as well take a direct shot at him if you're going to make an enemy out of him anyway. Kamu, Yash, Taylor discussed different possibilities with Yash's veto last night, never really landing on the right one of taking Haley off the block and putting up Devens. That's the right move because then Devens is forced to use the veto on himself. But of course, they don't know that Devens has a veto power Yash and Kamu discussed the dumb idea of using the veto on Angela and nominating Barrett, when if they're going to use the veto, it needs to be used on Haley. Mallory did tell Yash and Taylor that the plan for the house is to get Haley out and that she might not have the numbers to stay, which is something that the board 4 did not want Mallory to tell, but she did. Mallory is at least someone, trying to branch out. I still think she does a terrible job of it, but at least it's certainly better than Melody, who just sits around with Drew and doesn't really have a game otherwise. So, I mean, if they're getting this information from Mallory, you would think that Yash would come to the conclusion that maybe he should save Haley this week with the veto. There's still plenty of time to do that. Yash and Taylor are the most logical players in the house, but we can't expect them to be psychic and know that Devens has this overpowered power. Like, it's going to be impossible for them to be one step ahead of that, too. And production obviously wants Devens' power to be used. That's why they gave it to Devens. It was no coincidence that not only has it only been the 2 Survivor players to get power so far, but the very first power given away is by far the most powerful power on the board. Yeah, I'm sure that was just a coincidence. But, I don't think Yash and Taylor can foresee that. Taylor and Yash are still clocking things, though. They know that for a moment Angela and Dee were running the house and they were using Haley as a puppet, and that's why everyone hates Haley and not them. They were right about that. They shat on Melody rightfully, saying if she was smart, she would ditch Drew, just like Taylor wishes she could ditch Lala, but Taylor understanding that she can't ditch Lala because that is a vote for her. But is Drew a vote for Melody? Not really. I will also say that Kamu has been a terrible influence on Yash this week because Kamu is still hanging on for this trust for Drew himself. Dee beat Yash in telling Melody about the BB bribe, though the important part of that story is that Yash did not accept the bribe. But I don't know why Yash is waiting forever. He's taking his sweet, precious time to have that conversation with Melody and Mallory about it, although Melody's a lost cause with Drew in the game. Anyway, so to recap another horrid day of this boring cast, Angela has started telling multiple people that she would give up her game for Dee. Haley is okay with being in the blockbuster instead of negotiating logically with Yash for Yash to use the veto on her, which is obviously best for both of their games. Drew told Dee he would love to lose to a vet rather than a newbie, rather than ever being concerned winning the game. And this is our great cast, really playing hard, huh? Melody sitting up every night with Drew, talking shit about other people's games when she has no game and lets Drew lead her like a dog. Like, she's getting led by the vet doormat. They say Melody is a comedian, but the biggest joke in the house might be her game and just the way that she lets Drew treat her in this house. It's a joke. The whole season is a joke.